My name is Kevin Wilson, and I am the lifestyle director at Kissing Tree. What I do is I want to say I entertain them, but I provide all the events for them. Staying active and social is so important for everybody. New residents get adjusted to activities when they come to them because, again, they're branching out now and getting to meet new people, not just somebody from their neighborhood who came over and, had coffee with them or whatever. Now they're meeting other people from other places and everything. And it's so cool how every now and then you'll have people that'll run into somebody that they knew from another high school in their hometown in Pennsylvania. Who knew if they didn't get out of the house and get out there? So the events really kind of start putting people together.
My parents were looking at moving to Kissing Tree, so I started coming down here with them, looking at the property, and kind of fell in love. I had a house in Kyle, and I was like, man, this place looks pretty awesome. I wanna move there. So immediately, just because I had been coming to a lot of events before I moved into the neighborhood, I knew people my parents' age, but then I started meeting people my same age, and I know well over 200 people now living here, so it's pretty crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's pretty nice, especially living in a gated community and then having all your friends here, riding around on a golf cart, hanging out. It's pretty fun. Having the friendships that I've made in this neighborhood is pretty special. I've met a great group of people. We have a pretty good bond. It is like family here. So I appreciate all the friendships that I've made. So right now, being retired, I just recently retired. I am definitely living life to the fullest. I've got my house here. I've got my car, and everything is pretty simple. I still take care of my own yard. There's a lot of people that have the yard service, but I can pretty much put my house on cruise control, and that's another thing I do. I do a lot of cruises, and it's easy for me to just lock up the house and go on a cruise. And this neighborhood has been really awesome. I've got great neighbors. They can check on the place for me if I'm gone, things like that. So yeah, absolutely, pretty awesome.
Grew up in Farmers Branch and then Richardson, Texas. I graduated Richardson High School. After high school, went to college and got an internship at Sun Oil Company. That's where I decided I wanted to get into exploration, geoscience, technology. And worked for them for a while and started my 40-year oil and gas career right there in Richardson. Once I left Sun Oil Company in '94, I lived in London, I lived in Calgary, where Anna was born. I spent time in New Orleans. I moved to Houston. I was based out of Houston for 14 years. So I really didn't have roots that felt like, I was leaving a rooted family. I was leaving what was convenient to me because that's where I grew up. But like I said, I wanted to move to the hill country for a long time. And so that superseded any sense of longing that I would have had leaving their house. I only came here really on a whim. Anna had just moved, was just about to move in to start her junior year here. And I came down, I was visiting some friends over near Lake Travis and decided to drive down. And I'd heard about this place through a University of Texas message board and came over here. And I'm pretty sure I put a deposit down before I left that day. So it was very spur of the moment, very impulsive, which isn't like me at all, but that's what happened. And of course I had time to kind of find the right house and the right stuff. And I guess it was about 8 months later, here I was. So it was the people that it didn't feel, it felt like the hill country to me. It felt like a place that, when you get into your 60s, you start thinking about, I can't just live out in the middle of nowhere anymore. I've got to be close to hospitals, medical care, things that keep your mind going. And so it really checked a lot of boxes, but I really didn't understand how special this place was until I actually moved here. So my wife's diagnosis wasn't something that just happened in one day, right? It was something that we saw cooking for a couple of years, and we were really quite confused as to what it was, as were doctors. And so when we got her full diagnosis that she had early onset Alzheimer's, it was pretty clear that I needed to step away from an executive job and spend more time, trying to, figure out what was going on. And once we knew what was going on, that there were some big decisions to make. And so, it was pretty rough, right? I mean, it's watching somebody decline like that quickly, especially somebody as beautiful and talented as she is. it was tough. We'd always wanted to come here after retirement. I love the hill country. I spent a lot of time in Austin. Dallas really wasn't for me. I'm not really the summit and restaurant type. I like getting outside, hiking down the hill country, and the beauty of the hill country is where we wanted to be. And so the where wasn't all that hard. We had this little group called the Deep End Pool Club that we only have a 4-foot deep pool, but we call it the Deep End Pool Club. And we all kind of get there on Sundays, have some adult beverages and enjoy the sunshine. And when you go on vacations, you bring your little deep club cup with you and take pictures in Timbuktu and things like that. So, those people were very welcoming. I managed to win the Halloween golf cart parade contest, and that got me a lot of street cred. It wasn't really starting over; it's kind of continuing. It was, and when you do retire from 40 years of something, there is that competition every day of succeeding and being, differential to your peers and things like that. So you find yourself competing at a level that's probably higher than you feel when you're doing it. But when you stop, it's kind of like, wow, we were, every day was a competition. It was a athletic event, And so you look back on that and it's very real when you get to that stage of life. And I'm very much enjoying not having to compete every day. I'm enjoying relaxing. I've never been healthier. You could do your annual physicals at this age religiously, and you come out of those kind of with your fingers crossed. And this year I just finished that, and I'm in incredible condition right now, and knock on wood, but this place is part of that, right? It's because I'm where I want to be. So I want to introduce you to Mr. Brian Lawrence. He is referred to affectionately as the mayor of Kissing Tree. Brian is one of those rare people that when he owns something, his loyalty is top shelf. And he, from asking you how your hamburger was at the truck to making sure everybody's having a good time, this is the guy that's always doing that. He's one of the first people I met when I moved here, and I consider him a good friend, and I really like having him around this neighborhood.
Thank you, Rob. You're the best. Most people call me the mayor of Kissing Tree because I'm always going to all the activities that we have, and we have tons of activities. And I always welcome new residents, and I always like to greet new residents, talk to them, find out their names, how long they've been here. And so basically, I'm just out there welcoming everybody to Kissing Tree. The thing about living in Kissing Tree is like living on a cruise ship. You do as much as you want or as little as you want. Pickleball is king here, of course, and golfing. We have the great golf course. So I can't imagine another place being any better. We like to say we're 55 and better community. We're not old. We're very active. My wife is really big into fitness. I've had over 1,000 fitness classes since we moved here 4.5 years ago. And then also we have evening activities like live music on Tuesday night. Home is Kissing Tree for me, and this is my last home. So we moved from Austin, and we retired from Dallas 14 years ago. We lived in 4 homes in Austin in 10 years. And we finally found Kissing Tree, and when we moved here, we knew this is our final resting spot. And my ashes are going on the 9th green on the golf course. So I'm not moving anymore. My wife won't let me move another time, so we're here permanently.